Welcome to the next video on flat. In this video, we are going to talk about recursive and recursively enumerable languages. So let us start. If we talk about a Turing machine and its execution over some given input, we can think of certain outcomes. What are these? The Turing machine may halt and accept the input. If you remember the configuration, if we are moving from this configuration to some configuration where P belongs to some final state and alpha 1 and alpha 2 belongs to star closure of tape symbols. Fine. If we are reaching from initial configuration to this configuration, then we are going to say that the Turing machine is accepting the input provided it halts. Okay. The second outcome, it halts and rejects the input. Suppose the state is not belonging to final set of states, then we are going to say that okay, Turing machine has worked over the input, but it rejected the input. Okay. Next, never halt. It may be possible that the Turing machine never halt. Okay. Now, what exactly is the difference between procedure and algorithm? Let us understand. When we talk about a procedure, it is nothing but a finite sequence of instructions and it can be mechanically carried out given over given input. Okay, so we have to talk about procedure for solving a problem. Okay, now if we talk about algorithm, algorithm is a procedure. Here you can see important thing that terminates after a finite number of steps for any input. Okay, here termination is important when we talk about an algorithm. Fine. Now what exactly are recursive and recursively enumerable sets? Okay, a set is recursive if we have an algorithm to determine whether a given elements belong to X or not. So if we are having an algorithm which determines for the given input whether it is belonging to X or not, then we are going to say that this set is recursive. If we talk about a recursively enumerable set, so it is a set X for which we have a procedure to determine whether a given element belongs to X or not. Fine. So important thing is that a recursive set is recursively enumerable. Okay. So this we have to keep in mind because an algorithm is what? Algorithm is a procedure which terminates after finite number of steps. So we have to keep that in mind. Now what about the languages? That is recursive and recursively enumerable. Fine. So let us talk about with respect to a Turing machine. A language is said to be recursive if there exists a Turing machine that accepts every string of the language and rejects every string over the same alphabet that is not in the language. So that is called recursive. If we are talking about recursively enumerable, then there exists a Turing machine that accepts every string of the language and does not accept strings that are not in the language. Important point is that for strings that are not in the language, the Turing machine may or may not halt. Okay, so in this way, recursive and recursively enumerable languages are distinguished. You can think of this relation. Every recursive language is also recursively enumerable. So if we are talking about in terms of set, this is a recursively enumerable language and here we are having the subset as recursive language. Okay, thank you for watching.